learn. We learn how to interact. We learn how to socialize. We learn how to speak up for ourselves, tell people to stop being mean, or that we enjoy their friendship. Between the ages of birth to 6, we learn how to build relationships, keep relationships, find friends that build us up, and make us feel like we are good enough. What if I told you that I couldn't? I spent the first 6 years of my life observing, watching from the sidelines. I wanted to play, but I wasn't sure how. I wanted to speak up, to have my voice be heard, but I didn't know how, and I was never sure what I was responding to. My brain worked just fine. I had taught myself how to survive in a world where I felt like I was underwater, interacting, socializing, and talking all underwater. But even then, I only caught every other word. But I still adapted and learned how to get by. I taught myself how to read lips. That came in handy when my hearing was being tested. Baseball, football, hot dog. The doctors would stare at me, mouth uncovered, and perfectly enunciate every syllable of those 2-syllable words. I passed those tests by reading lips, until one day a doctor decided to simply cover his mouth, and without even realizing it, I had figured out how to survive. Surviving school meant being a follower. I had one friend whom I followed everywhere. I watched her closely, picking up clues, copying her every move in hopes of figuring out exactly what I was supposed to be doing. Trying to figure out the rules of the all-important rules of the childhood playground. Then at 6, I got hearing aids and was put into the world. I tried to learn the rules, but everyone else had a 6-year head start. I fell into this gray area. I don't fit into the world of the hearing, but I don't fit into the world of the deaf. Yet the deaf and hard of hearing world was, and still is, foreign to me. I grew up surrounded by the fully hearing, trying to fit in the best I could. I remember my first sleepover at a friend's house, laying there in her house, snuggled up in my pink and red strawberry shortcake sleeping bag, willing myself to stay awake until everyone else had went to sleep so I didn't miss a thing. At sleepovers, I always slept with my hearing aids in. For 30+ years, I've listened, steps behind everyone, figuring out how to connect. Mistakes have cost me group after group. Those social cues are always up for criticism from the masses. Why are you doing this? Why do you act like this? You're shunned, called names, labeled, because people always assume they know why you act the way you do. You're bitter, angry, negative, self-absorbed, pathetic, unstable, problematic. They never hit on the truth. Disabled, impaired, 6 years behind. It's easier to shun than understand. It's easier to cast aside and place a label, immediately diminishing who I am as a person. It's not the impairment. I have a defective personality. It's easier to label someone as having a defective personality trait. It's easier to call someone angry or negative because that's something that can be changed. A disability, an impairment, that can't be changed. I have to understand, and if I don't, if I say it wrong, step wrong, have a tone that is wrong, then I'm out with no clue as to why it happened, just that it did. And the reasons that are given are the labels. The diminishing labels that people give us as some sort of identification tag. It's always easier to accept someone as just pathetic than it is to accept them as disabled. It's not an excuse, but rather an explanation. When people explain that they get me, that their grandparents are hearing impaired, that they also have bad hearing, or that they have a friend, it's not the same. It's not the same as your grandparents or your friend. It's being 5 years old and living in a world where you wonder why everyone spoke so softly and they got mad when you didn't respond correctly. So I keep adapting. I keep trying to figure out what the rules of the game are, even when I'm starting to think that no one knows exactly what those rules are. The rules for connecting to the right career path, the right guy, the right friends. Though, judging by those who celebrated my 40th birthday with me last month, I think I've started succeeding in that area. Yeah, last month I celebrated 40, and while there's no way of knowing what my 4th decade on this planet will bring, if the last 4 decades have taught me anything, I'm ready. Gray area and all.
The streets you follow here may be